1 in 3 BMWs sold around the globe is an X car, like this, the all-new BMW X3. This part of the SUV market has increased tenfold since the X3 was first launched in 2003, and rivals like the Jaguar F-Pace and the latest Volvo XC60 have left it trailing behind. But with a new platform, a new style and loads of new tech, does BMW have a winner on its hands once again? You may not think it at first glance, but the X3 is completely new. Its looks may be evolutionary rather than revolutionary, but that's no bad thing, and it's a handsome car. It's also a car that's grown, and it's far larger than it was back in 2003, while this ever-popular M Sport looks great with its M badges and lowered suspension. And because diesel engines aren't exactly flavour of the month at the moment, for the first time there's a selection of petrol engines available alongside the usual diesels, which include a hot 3-litre turbocharged M40i, which sadly this isn't. In here, well, it's everything you expect from a BMW interior. It's sleek, it's smart looking, it's just very well built from high quality materials. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of the look and the layout of BMW interiors. I prefer the more pared back approach you get, say, in a Volvo. However, I cannot deny just how brilliantly put together this is. Every model across the range comes with leather upholstery and soft touch surfaces with gloss black or aluminium trim, and all come with an infotainment system that incorporates BMW connected drive, a music library and a reversing camera, along with LED headlights and 18-inch alloy wheels. And the options list has borrowed tech like digital dials and a 3D head-up display from the 5 and 7 Series saloons. Now, BMW's infotainment system is, as always, for a BMW, it's intuitive, it's easy to use. It's a touchscreen, and of course you also get the great rotary dial down there. It's worth bearing in mind though that whilst you can opt for Apple CarPlay, BMW don't currently offer Android Auto. When it comes to storage, it's all there, there's loads of it. Huge door bins, compartments in here for cup holders, and this model has wireless charging as well. Got great sized storage under there, under the armrest, and of course a good sized glove box. Boot space is good and is certainly up there with cars like the Mercedes GLC. It has a wide opening, no lip to lift things over, and there are plenty of useful tether points and netting to keep everything in place. If you need extra space, the rear seats fold down almost flat at the push of a button. Now, the X3 gives its bigger sibling, the X5, a run for its money when it comes to space. However, of course, there isn't the option of 7 seats with this one, but you can fit 3 adults in here comfortably. There's lots of room across the seat, whilst you get good leg room and excellent headroom. It's a bit of a shame, though, that whoever sits in the middle seat loses leg room because of the transmission tunnel. You will also fit 3 child seats across here with ease, and there's a couple of ISOFIX child seat points, whilst the doors open nice and wide to make it easy getting children in and out, and the door bins are also a really good practical size. There are currently 3 diesel versions along with the hot petrol engine on offer. We've got the top selling 20D with its familiar 187 brake horsepower diesel engine. Now, it's roughly on par with its rivals when it comes to performance, to emissions, also to fuel economy. And it comes paired with a smooth 8-speed automatic gearbox, which is the only gearbox available. Now, what's really impressive is just how refined this engine is. There's absolutely no diesel clatter spoiling the piece, and it gets even more refined and even quieter once you're cruising at speed. Now, despite all the negativity towards diesels at the moment, this one, the 20D, is absolutely the engine that I'd choose from the range. Now, this is a large, heavy car, but you wouldn't know it behind the wheel because it feels light and smooth, with its suspension soaking up potholes and bumps in the road. The steering isn't at its best around town at lower speeds, but head out onto a nice stretch of country road and it feels sharp and extremely composed. There's also no body roll going into corners. In fact, you know, you could almost convince yourself that you're behind the wheel of a BMW saloon. Now, for most buyers, the ability to handle tough off-road terrain isn't at the top of the list of priorities. But if it is, then the X3 is very impressive. Every model in the range is fitted with xDrive 4-wheel drive technology. Although the downside of this is that you don't get the option of a two-wheel drive version. But whilst it's not quite up to the job of rivalling a Range Rover, it's more than capable of handling wet, muddy fields, boat ramps, and the very worst winter can throw at it. But all those improvements do mean that the X3 is now more expensive than the previous model, so owning one is going to be more of a financial commitment. But despite that, we now think that the X3 is firmly back at the top of the class. If you're in the market for a mid-size premium SUV, then why not take a look at our review of the Jaguar F-Pace or our SUV playlist.